everybody. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia.
Look at this. It's our own little mini fridge. And inside this mini fridge is... You wouldn't know what else is in it because it literally doesn't say on it anywhere.
No. What's in it, though?
Some
cans. Soda cans.
cold one.
You're
supposed to catch it, but all right.
Okay, well, if you go like that, I can't. Here we go. That's a refreshing two-player game.
I actually stuck one of these in the fridge. It was that one, actually. I stuck it in the fridge for a while to see if anyone would notice.
We didn't.
So, anyhow, we're going to talk about each of these. Some overall comments. I just want to be really clear. These from this whole collection is a gimmick.
Right.
It really is. It's about, hey, you got these things in a can. That's the game. On one hand, that's cute. I like the little cans. It's kind of nice and everything.
Yeah.
I don't like this outside packaging at all. I find that, but also you can't, that's the only way to get it. There's not even a barcode. I guess these were probably only Kickstarter, but.
Probably, yes. There's no information on the can either about this game. So this one's called Lightseeker. It says the designer and the artist, and that's it.
Yeah, and they're all two-player games, I guess. So there's that. But, 4 games. They've done a collection before, the Matchbox collection, which was not particularly well received. But maybe this one's better. So we're going to take a look at these, and I guess we'll look at Lightseekers first.
Lightseeker.
Lightseekers has the flavor of blueberries. It's about making light versus darkness. It's really, really an odd theme.
Yeah.
Anyway, show people how it plays. I don't know what else to say.
Here we go. In this game, the players are trying to create an area of light on this imaginary grid that has at least 7 points of light. These are all on the dark side right now, but as you rotate these and tilt them over, then you're going to create areas of light. You're going to have either a half, a square, that's 1 point of light, or these, which are 2 points of light. And if you make an orthogonally adjacent group of light that is 7 or more, you immediately are going to win the game. On your turn, you're going to take 2 actions, except for the first turn, where that player only takes 1 action. And you are going to use those actions to either slide a cube or to tilt a cube by toppling it into a position. It has to be a cube that has an open side next to it so that you can do that sliding or tilting. Once you are done, the cubes must all be still at least diagonally adjacent to another cube. They cannot be separated like this. If that would happen, that's an illegal move. And you must make sure that at the end of your turn, there is more light showing than there was at the beginning. So the first player perhaps will do this for their first action, and then as a final thing on their turn, they'll move this blocking piece. So perhaps they'll put that piece there. Then the second player would go. They have to take 2 actions. So maybe they'll do first action like so, and second action like so. There's more light showing. There's now up to 3. So that's legal. And then they can move this blocking piece to another piece. Then back to the original first player, they might slide this one and perhaps tilt this one. And now we've got more light showing, but still not a group of 7. And this continues back and forth until, again, someone at the end of their turn has a group of light showing that equals at least 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like so. 6, 7, in fact, 8 with this one. Well, if that happens at the end of your turn, then you are the winner of the game.
This is my least favorite of the group.
Well, let me see.
The top caps, the cats.
Yes. I think this is by far the least interesting. It's both nebulous to play, kind of finicky to handle, doesn't look particularly good. The little cubes are supposed to have artwork on every face, or do have artwork on every face, and that's supposed to make this interesting sort of ooh-ah kind of whirl, but it doesn't come across whatsoever. I really didn't enjoy this game. It's not fun.
Yeah, I don't like any game where we're going for a shared condition. Like if you were light and I was darkness, that'd make the game more interesting.
Right? Yeah, we're trying to fight over that.
Around. But here, the only thing that's the interaction is we're both doing light, and I'm trying to make it for me, but not set you up. So I'm going to mark one that you can't move, but also who cares? And then I really dislike a game where you can flip a cube, but I need to remember I have to keep looking at it to see.
Yeah.
What kind of nonsense is that?
It's also on an imaginary grid, but you can't tighten up the cubes because you can't move them then. You know what I mean? If it's on an imaginary grid, I want the squares of that grid to be the size of the cube. But in this one, you have to space them out. And visually, for me, that just doesn't look very good.
Why not have a little board with a thing? Because they say, well, the grid goes forever, but you're not moving the cubes that
Sure, right.
far.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, this one to me, I thought it was a pretty terrible game. I'm giving it a 4. I like the packaging. I like how it looks. And I just found it to be a really blasé game.
I'm giving it a 2. I thought it was absolutely great.
I'm now feeling a little bit bad about how high my score is.
This is not interested in any way. There's nothing here that I would ever come back to. It is just boring and lame and toppling the cubes. I guess you could say, "Ooh, yeah, but that's clever." No, I've seen it. I'm over it. There's nothing here that I'm interested in. So yeah, it's a 2 out of 10. Absolute dreck.
Then we have Catacomb, which is a terrible name for a game.
Catacomb. I get it.
You know what's kind of weird, though, is it really doesn't have anything to do with
Catacombs?
catacombs or combs.
Or cat? It does have something to do with it.
Yeah, it has something to do
I
with
don't
cats.
know. I don't get it. You're moving around your cats, trying to control different locations, or have 3 stacks that are 3 and you're on top.
Yeah, show 'em.
All right. To set up the game, we're going to randomize the board to look something like this, in this shape anyway, and then the player who is not starting will take the 3 neutral cubes, and they're going to put 1 per color out here anywhere they want to. Then the other player will be the start player, and on their turn, they can either introduce a new piece on top of another piece that is not their own color. In this game, you can never have a stack that contains 2 pieces touching of the same color, so they could play here, or here, or here. You have to come onto the board on top of a piece, and therefore create a stack of 2. And then the other option is, so this player would go, they might play there. The other option would be then to take a stack and mancala it basically around the board, doing something like this. 1, leaving 1 there, 2, leaving 1 there, and continuing. You could even go back. You could do 1, 2, like this. So those are your 2 options there. Then this player could come into play like so. Every stack can only have up to 3 cubes. You cannot go higher than that, and you're going to win the game if you have 3 or more towers of 3 pieces, and you are the top one anywhere, or if you are the top cat on 3 tiles of the same color. So if this happens to be true, like so, then the black player would win, or again, 3 stacks that look like this with you on top, anywhere on the board. You continue taking turns until that is true, and then that player, of course, is the winner of the game. I like it when an abstract game is able to combine sort of concepts from other abstract games into a new idea or a new kind of feeling. And this one does that. The stacking thing we've seen before. The mancala thing we've seen before. Coming together here works pretty well, I thought.
Of the games in this series, I think it's the nicest looking one. I like the cats. The cubes.
Yeah.
I like it. It's cool. It just feels like it's going to be explored. It's like a slightly...
Sure.
So think of between tic-tac-toe and chess, it's definitely closer to tic-tac-toe. I'm not saying it is like tic-tac-toe, but
Right.
most games are going to end after only a few moves. You're going to... I mean, it's kind of neat that way. I feel like the first few moves are a little scripted. Like, you put a cube out, you put a cube out as soon as you can. Like, the first 3 moves are, you put a cube out, I put a cube out, you put a cube out.
And then you
Now I topple 1. Then you either put, because you want to have more cubes on the board. It's like that's not even a question, but it still puts in some unique things. And the changing of the board actually matters in this a lot because it's going to change the puzzle of essence. Because it feels like a puzzle, right? The first person to force the other person into a spot where they can't win. I like it fine. I just don't know that I feel like I'm done with it, if that makes sense.
Really?
Yeah, I would give it a 6 for that reason. Not that I don't want to I would play it if someone brought it out, and I wouldn't have a problem with that. It's just that I felt the game was smaller than I was interested in.
I think this one, and then if I can, speak for the company here, which I don't know exactly what their plan was, what their grand scheme was for a collection like this, but I'd like to think it was something like this. A game that is 10 minutes, 15 tops, for two people, that looks good, works well, and after you play it once, you go, yeah, okay, let's do that again. And there's something there. There's something there to come back to next time. This one, I think, achieves what I think this collection's going for. I'm giving it a 7. I liked it. It's not a game that is going to replace a big abstract. And again, I think the comparison to chess, between chess and, tic-tac-toe is a little misleading. Chess is so out there.
No, I'm just saying where it is on the scale of strategy, that's all.
I think there's some fun tactics here, actually. I enjoyed this one. It's one I'm still thinking about. So, for that reason, and taking it on its own merits for the fact that it comes in a stinking, can here, and is a little game for two, meant to be short, I think they achieved what they were going for. 7 out of 10 for Cat at Combe.
Now, Top Cap has bottle caps in it.
Yes, it does.
And a board. Oh, here. He's going to show you how to play this.
Floppy board. In this game, the objective is to get one of your bottle caps here all the way into your opponent's starting location there, or their home base, if you would. Or if your opponent has no legal move on their turn, then you're also going to win. And so on your turn, the first thing you do is you're going to select one of your bottle caps, and you are going to count how many bottle caps are adjacent to that one, both orthogonally and diagonally. So say if I pick this one right here, then there are 2 adjacent to it, and this could be either color, by the way. Then I'm going to have to move that piece in a straight line, again, orthogonally or diagonally, exactly how many are adjacent to it. So if I pick this one, there are 2 adjacent to it. I could go 1, 2, like so. And then my opponent could go, and perhaps they'll move this one. There's only 1 adjacent. They could move here, 1. Comes back to me. I could move this one. It's adjacent to 2 of them. I could go 1, 2. And so on, continuing until, again, you're able to get one of your pieces into the opponent's location, or your opponent cannot take a turn. Once that happens, of course, we're going to have a winner in the game. You can also, by the way, do alternate setups for where the pieces start, as shown here in the rulebook. The one you saw here was the starting one, but you could try something a little bit different just to mix it up.
The theming of this game is that you found some pieces and you're in a shop, and the theming of the game is you made the game. Okay, I get it. It kind of works. The bottle caps. This one looks nice. I think of the 4 soda cans in this series, this is the best game of the 4. I found it to be really interesting. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say my rating early. I'm giving it as a 6.5. And the reason it's not higher is because I just can't get over the fact that you don't need this to play it. You need any 4 pieces on a grid. And you could make that statement about many games for sure. But I don't know. I do like that there's alternate setups. I think this is probably another small solvable game. I just found it to have some interesting, that idea of moving the exact space next to you feels really clever.
It does.
I wouldn't mind to see this one slightly expanded, maybe a few more things in a small box game outside this dumb packaging. I would be really interested in getting it.
I agree with that, and I think this is the only one I would say can get that treatment, and I would be content with that. I think all the other ones, exist in the form, the factor that they exist in, and that's good enough for those. But I agree with you, and I do think it is the best one, or in my case, I think it's tied for the best, because I'm giving this one a 7. There's another one I gave a 7 to, because I do like it. Yeah, the theme is pretty goofy, this idea of, this is a game I designed, basically. Like, if you and I are playing, we made the game.
Yeah, we were actually pretty proud of ourselves for having made the game.
I'm happy with that. I made one of the best games in this collection. I don't like that the bottle caps feature artwork from the company's other games. I think that's a little like, on the one hand, you're like, it's a self-wink. It's a self-referential. They're winking at you. I'm like, no, they're advertising. I don't like that.
I'd have preferred they went for like
Could be fake
parodies
sodas.
or fake sodas or parodies of sodas.
Fake drinks, fake, things that come in bottles. That's what I would have rather had, but I will say the gameplay and that one thing, the amount you can move is what's around you. You have to move the full amount. You have to move in a straight line. If you can't move that piece. That's interesting. I like how that plays with restrictions. You just got to get across or force your opponent to not have a move. If you isolate their pieces, they die. There's something clever here. Something to explore, again, and I enjoy that. So yeah, 7 out of 10 from me for top cap.
All right, forgiveness. Oh, no. For Genesis. It's a weird word.
For Genesis, I don't know.
For Genesis. All right, let's take a look at it, Z.
In this game, the players are going to be moving and activating their creatures onto this board, and they will win if they can get one of their creatures onto the opponent's base, or if the opponent cannot take an action, then they lose, and you'll win that way. To set up the game, the players are going to randomly remove 2 pieces. One player would do this, and then the other player would find the same 2 pieces and remove them, so that we are getting rid of the same 2. These would be out. And then you are going to pick one of your opponent's pieces, put them in one of their 2 summoning places. Your opponent will do the same thing for you, and then you are ready to begin the game proper. So on your turn, you are going to take one of 2 different kinds of turns. You can take an activation and summoning turn or a refresh turn. An activation and summon turn means that you can do one of these things. You must do at least one. You can activate your creatures. They can either move, and they must move farther away from your home base, so they might move. Or you can activate it, and after doing so, and whatever the special power is, then you'll flip it over to the resting side, exhausted side. And you can also then summon a new one into one of your 2 summoning locations and comes into play active side up. You have to do at least one of those 2 things. At least move something, at least or at least summon something. The other option then of turns would be you can simply refresh every creature that's on the board by flipping them back over to their active side. And if you want to take that kind of turn, at least one of them must be exhausted. In the rulebook, you are going to have the different types of activations for the creatures, where it tells you that the beetle could shove, the bird can move diagonally instead of just orthogonally. You've got the frog that can jump over a piece, doing something like this, for example, and then turning off. So each one's going to have a different thing, but again, what you're trying to do is get in here with one of your pieces, getting across. So this would win the game for me. Or having your opponent not be able to make a legal move. They have nothing to refresh. They have no one they could advance or no one they could summon. In that case, then you also win the game.
This game has some structural problems for me. Because the different pieces, you noted that they had some weird symbols on them, and you were guessing what the symbols did.
Yes.
I didn't find it to be particularly easy and or intuitive. Some of them make a little more sense than the others.
Sure.
And unfortunately for me, I think that's kind of where the whole game is at. The whole game just feels unintuitive. You play something, you're activating, or you're resting and unflipping them, and it doesn't feel clean. In this series, like it or dislike it, the games feel pretty much straightforward.
Yes.
This one does not, but also it's not a big enough space to justify it not being straightforward.
Right. This one doesn't seem like the others. There's too many moving parts. There's too many rules to this one. All the other ones I can explain in just a minute and a half. You're like done explaining the other ones. This one's like, here's how we do it. During setup, one player removes 2 of these randomly. Then the other player has to remove the same 2. Then I set up one of your pieces. You set up one of my pieces. Then we start. What can you do? They all have a special ability. You can recharge them. It's like, wow, this is...
And none of that's really bad if the game is bigger.
No, it's not, but it's also... I mean, the reason I kept guessing at these things is because it kind of reminds me of Hive, which is another very well-regarded abstract game with pieces that have abilities. I love that game. It's a very clever, interesting game. This one didn't give me that feeling. I found it kind of a little overwrought. And I thought the graphic design, the look they were going with here, also didn't fit the sort of charming, ethereal vibe of the rest of this. They all have this sort of genteel, two-player, cozy kind of vibe. This one doesn't feel like that. It feels kind of like techie, animals, robotic, weird frog things. I wasn't really feeling it. It's not a badly put together game. It just seemed a little overwrought for, again, the idea. 4 goofy two-player games, small, simple things in a can, in a box. This one ain't that.
Yeah, for me, this is a 5 because I can see kind of a game I like in there, but not enough that I want to go back to it. And again, it's going to be compared to The Duke or Onitama or Hive or these other games that have this, and those games feel cleaner, bigger, and easier. This one feels like they tried to shove it in the can and some of it got lost because they had to top it off.
Yeah, I'm giving it the same thing. I'm also giving it a 5. I'm not besmirching the game. I don't think it's a bad... It's not a collection of bad ideas. There's some good, clever concepts here. I think picking this one to be one of your 4 that go in a can and then in this box, that might have been the mistake. I think this is not your 4th. There's something else that would have fit the other 3 in this collection a little bit better.
That's 4 different sets here, 4 different games. Now, real quick, my thoughts on the thing as a whole, I cannot recommend it. I would give it a 5, and that's not just because... It's mostly because I don't think you should have to buy 2 good games. You gave 2 a set.
Yeah, I like 2 of them.
I don't think you should have to buy 2 bad to get 2 good.
No. This is not the Walmart bargain bin where I want to buy 1 movie and the bundle comes with 3. And 2 of those are bundled in there because they don't sell on their own. This feels like that to me. She was like, haha, see? 4 games. It's like, yeah, but I might not like some of them. And in fact, it's very unlikely that you'll like all 4 of these games, right? What are the odds of that? So I agree with you. I couldn't recommend this as a package deal unless you are someone who loves collecting games, or someone who just thrives on gimmicks.
And maybe you want to display these. I mean, I really feel like a lot of these are going to be in people's houses so someone can go, what's that? And you're like, it's
gotcha.
a game. Da-na-na-na.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I mean, and you know what? I can get that. I can actually get why you might want to. I don't know why you want. This, unfortunately... The whole thing, like this is a fridge. This is so boring on the side.
It's very nondescript. You have the front looks like a fridge, kind of.
Sort of.
The back looks like a fridge, for sure. You got the back there. But do you display this?
It's not good enough to display,
you put the cans out. The cans are what looks neat.
Yeah. And if this head wasn't a box, like a little plastic fridge, which I know would be expensive.
Sure.
Then maybe that would make more sense. As a box, it's kind of meh. Also, this is the ugly part of the fridge you're always trying to hide.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, there you go, folks. That is the Soda Pop collection from Thunder Griff. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia.
Have fun drinking and playing.
Okay.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.